It's my feel-good breakfast show.
This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso here on SABC3. Now, our next guest is someone who has a passion for being in front of the camera. It was during his tertiary education while studying at Tshwane University of Technology where he started taking his acting skills very seriously and decided to pursue it as a career before scooping up the role of Noah in SABC1's Skeem Saam. And joining us today is one of Mzansi's biggest villains, actor and model Austin Mothapo, who knows all about mastering his look in the spotlight. Plus, of course, we get the way in from our fashion and beauty editor, Nox Mafu, about the importance of looking after our skin as well. Austin, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yourself?
Very, very well. Thanks so much for making the time to chat to us this morning. Now, Madiba once said that everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. Now, tell me about your character, because clearly you've involved a lot of passion and practice into it, so much so that you've actually received a lot of backlash, I understand, from your character. What's it been like dealing with life as yourself and Noah?
It was actually very tricky when I started, you know. But I think now I've come to a phase where I'm actually okay with it, and I've learned to kind of know how to turn the negativity into being something positive, something that motivates me to do better, you know, to grow as an actor, you know. And also, I came to understand that sometimes when people are angry, you know, when you come across people on the street and they're angry, they're not really angry at Austin. They're angry at Noah, the character I play, because that's a very notorious boy.
Yeah.
So now I think it was difficult when I started, but now I'm comfortable.
You were playing that character very well, clearly. What were some of the things that people were approaching you, like at street level, saying to you, and how did you respond?
A lot of crazy things. Like, people would come at you, like, you know, some of the things you can't even say on TV, but yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
People are really angry because, yeah, that boy is something else, trust me.
I guess you definitely mastered his look in terms of being Noah on screen. Now, of course, with the COVID-19 pandemic, it's put most industries at a halt at the moment. How's lockdown affected the film industry from your perspective, and how have you been keeping yourself busy?
I'm still a student.
Wow, yeah.
So I've been busy with my books, online examinations, you know. Also, we're facing a dark cloud as a country, not only in the film industry, but I feel like everybody is going through something bad, you know. So the best thing we can do as a country now is to, you know, be there for someone who needs help.
Yeah, and in doing that, we're also carrying forth the spirit of Ntate Mandela as well, right, Nox?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, Austin, you're in front of the camera a lot, so looking well-groomed and having a healthy routine must be top priority. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, it is actually, because also I enjoy being in front of the camera, you know. I'm also a model, so I always try and look clean and look fresh and look nice.
So what do you do, man? Because, I mean, just even looking at you through this interview right now, your skin is looking so fresh. It's popping. I'm not sure if it's the lighting in front of you, but whatever it is you're doing is working. What's your secret? What are some of your best tips when it comes to taking care of your skin and essentially mastering your look?
When it comes to taking care of my skin, I think it's you know, drinking lots and lots of water. And when it comes to mastering my look, I think I always try not to try too hard, you know, try keep it easy, you know, take it easy, and you know, just look clean and fresh. I love to look classic. And in winter, I love to wear dark colors.
Yeah.
It always works out for me. And then in summer, I always look funky, go all out, floral, and always try to remember not to try too hard, because yeah, it always works for me.
Very, very true. Wait, do you sometimes find that, like, when it comes to, like, mastering your look and you talk about your style, does Noah come into the back of your voice and say, yes, sir, hey,
Not even. No, not at all. Not at all.
Nox, I mean, he mentioned something, Austin mentioned drinking water, and I've always found that That's a good starting point.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And it applies to all different skin types, right?
Absolutely. So I think a lot of the time, I mean, Austin probably has to go through this a lot where, you know, you're waking up early to get onto set to do a lot of stuff. So your skin either might be super oily because you're putting on that makeup often. So of course, you know, there are great ways to do that. Perhaps maybe adding steaming into your process. I mean, Austin's already drinking the water.
Yeah,
So already just to open up the pores and make sure that oil buildup doesn't happen. So I think that's a really lovely way, and maybe Austin will add that into his program. But if he's got more drier skin, you know, you'll probably want to lock in that moisture a lot more. So adding more oil-based items into your skin routine.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think that's the important thing, is to make sure that you're opening up your pores. If someone who's as busy and as active as Austin, you'd find that you need to give your skin the ability to just release and to be able to just make sure that it's healthy and happy so that you can just be dynamic on the screen like he is.
Yeah, and absolutely kill it on the screen like you're doing, Austin. And perhaps I'd like to ask you about, you know, some advice that you might have for, you know, mastering your craft. We talk about mastering your look. Let's talk about mastering your craft, because there are undoubtedly a lot of young people who would love to see themselves in your shoes with the kind of opportunity you received. But not just that, utilizing that opportunity to the best of your ability. What advice do you have for young actors coming up? Maybe they're at school level right now. Maybe they are at university level like you, and they want to make a success of themselves. What advice do you have?
One thing you can do for yourself as an actor is to not be a lazy reader, because that's where you get a lot of information, you know, because you're living someone else's life, and you're living, sometimes you have to play an experience you've never really experienced in your life. And for you to kind of get that feel, you have to get information. And where do we get information? Through reading books and watching movies, but also going out there and not being afraid to approach people that you look up to.
That is some great advice, man. Austin, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And good luck with all of your future endeavors, man. Great watching you on screen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. And enjoy your day.
You too, man. And, you know, he should, that's some very important advice. And
Absolutely.
not just for actors, just generally if you want to be more educated, more successful in that which you want to pursue, reading about it is a way of getting more information. And we've been getting a lot of information through the big hashtag Master Your Look campaign. I'm sure you've picked up some tips as well that you might not have been aware of before.
Absolutely. I think, I mean, watching someone like Thabiso, for instance, you know, really learn how to build his style. He's done that in a way of playing around and really finding the look that works for him. And I think it's been inspiring to really see people, you know, delve into finding what grooming does and what really loving your style and your skincare as a way of self-love in a sense, you know. So I really think there's something to be said about really taking care of yourself, taking care of your craft in the way that Austin has said, and just making sure that you start within to feel good.
Absolutely, and you've been a wonderful part of that as well. Thanks very much, Knox. Now, of course, don't forget that this is your last week. This is your last chance to win big with Expresso and Big Flex. Now, we're giving one final lucky viewer the chance to win a 5,000 Rand shopping voucher. All you need to do is to reply to the competition post on our Expresso Facebook page or our Twitter page and tell us, how do you embrace your uniqueness using hashtag #MasterYourLook. This week's competition closes tomorrow, Friday the 31st of July, so be sure to get all of those entries in, and T's and C's that apply can be found on our website, expressoshow.com.
Master your look with Big Flex.